Yo, what's going on guys? Thanks for joining me today. In this video I'll be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to keep calm when playing Fortnite. So stay tuned and make sure you watch the video until the very end to find out the most important tip that will help you stop choking and panicking in game. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Max and I'm a gaming video creator. I upload weekly videos that are focused on helping my lovely viewers get better at Fortnite, and I do also upload skin combo videos. I've helped thousands of people level up their game, whether it be in terms of their look in Fortnite or their game skill, and I genuinely hope I can do that once again for you today. Without any further ado though, let's get right into the video. So the first step I'm actually going to be covering today is take the pressure off of yourself and play to improve rather than win. And this is going to help you guys stay calm and stop being nervous in close in-game situations, because if you aren't stressed, about the game enough to actually be like really worried about what is going on, then that is good, because you don't want to be put into that state of mind where you run into a player who's good and you panic immediately, because that is probably the worst thing you can do in those situations. And it's actually been happening to me when I do play arena mode in the sort of higher divisions. I really don't want to lose points, and then I run into someone really good and I choke, and I'm gonna admit that's the thing I struggle with, and I know a lot of people do actually have sort of the same problem. If it's not arena mode, it's probably the cash cups, and for the elite level players that are watching this that place quite fairly decently in the cash cups, maybe somewhere in the mid sort of range, their biggest problems from what I've found is not even their skill. A lot of those players are really good and I think are good enough to actually make it out there and come into the top sort of half of the leaderboards, but the fact is they put themselves into a state of mind where they see that they've got the potential to actually get into the top places on the leaderboard, and then they choke their fights because they get overexcited, or they get panicky because if you do place high in those cash cups, you're gonna get a lot of exposure, and a lot of people actually get let that get to them. So don't let that happen to you, because that is probably the worst and the most devastating thing that can happen. And do make sure you guys are like playing to improve, and don't leave comments saying you think you're already good enough, because all of the pros that have made it out there, they were out there like grinding so hard to get to the position they are in today, and the fact is like they are still playing the game regularly for hours on end every single day. So don't tell me that you think are good enough when those people that are at the top of their game, like Booger and people like that, when he did win the World Cup, he was grinding literally a few days after it. So I don't understand what the excuses are. If you think you're good enough, then I mean there's literally no reason you shouldn't be finishing in the top sort of places. But anyways, moving on from that, the next tip I really want to talk about is make sure you're warmed up and you're actually in good mood, because that's actually that does affect the way that you play the game, if that makes any sense. So for example, if you're tilted, then you're going to make a lot of irrational decisions, and you're going to push a lot of fights that you don't really need to be pushing, because in the tighter sort of games you will need to be playing for placement, and you actually need to avoid some fights. So that's something that you want to kind of make a habit. Make sure that when you guys are in a sort of crappy mood and you're feeling like very badly because you've just died off drop like 3 times in a row or something, because that does happen. It's very frustrating when that happens in game, because you just sit there waiting for the game to start, and then little do you know you get killed off drop, and you pretty much have to start all over again. So I do understand your emotions can get to you, but do make sure you are feeling nice and fresh when you are actually starting your next game, because it will only help you. Another thing I want to say is that choking is actually a problem that is mainly revolved around the way you're feeling when you're actually, pushing someone. Because if you're confident, then there's a much less, likelihood that you're gonna lose that fight. Because if you've got, all your mechanics down, you're warmed up, you're feeling great, and you literally have the courage to push people in game, then I don't see why you shouldn't be winning those fights. Of course, you're not going to win every single fight, but if you're losing fights consistently when you are actually, playing well, then you should really invest, a lot more time playing this game, because, this game does have a pretty decently large skill gap, especially in terms of aim and building, which are like, the two main sort of mechanics. But not only that, game sense also does matter, as I keep banging on about that, but it really is an important aspect of your game. And game sense is actually the thing that really gets affected by your mood. So as I said, don't let your feelings get to you. Play with no emotions. And this is actually a tip I've heard from my friend. It's relating to another game. However, you can literally relate that tip to any single like sort of game in the world, because if you play with no emotions, then you're not gonna get excited when you hit for, like, someone for a 180 pump, and then you push in stupidly, rush into like someone's box, and then get trapped. You literally will have no excuses if you actually play the fight out smartly and don't make any stupid decisions. And stupid decisions are basically consequences of you not being careful and overexcited. And the last thing I sort of really quickly want to mention is the fact that you guys should be playing aggressively to improve. Because if you're gonna keep playing passively, sitting back in fights and just letting your opponent take the upper hand, then you are never going to be calm in those situations. Like, to put yourself into the worst situations is actually a good idea in some perspectives, because the more times you actually put yourself into those whack situations, you're actually gonna start learning how to play those situations out well, and you'll learn. And trust me guys, if you do that, then you'll have no problems with choking. Of course, not everyone's perfect in terms of their gameplay, and sometimes you will get those moments, but that's only going to happen rarer and rarer if you do actually play aggressively and W key to improve at first. But anyways guys, that wraps up the video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope this video has helped you. Make sure to leave a like if it did, and leave a comment suggesting a video sort of for the future that you actually want me to cover. And also make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to never miss another upload ever again. And also do check out some of the videos up on the screen right now. But on that note, I am out guys. Peace.